What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the RePHIL studio. It's your host, SB Philos 4. As always, let's refill our cans up to 99 flames, as we always do, as we are glad and happy to welcome our next special guest. And in this case, we have Loon joining us as our special guest. So as a brief introduction, Loon has in particular two T1 titles in the Beating in the Rain, as well as the Summer Night Poems Across the Water events, among probably many other achievements that we'll get to look over soon. But Loon, it is a great pleasure to have you join the studio today, and thank you for taking the time to join us.
Also happy, Phil. Also, thanks everyone that has joined. Well, I'm very happy to be here. So, yeah, let's get ready with the almost interview that you're ready to get to.
the almost interview. Yep. So before I begin, is there anything you would like to add about that intro? Anything else you would like to mention?
I don't like to talk too much about whether I have achieved before, so let's give it a 2-2-1. That's
all right. Okay. All right. So, before, we usually talk about, your tiering experiences and such. Before our guests do that, I always ask them right at the beginning of the podcast, because it's always a very unique story. Everyone has a very unique story on this. But Loon, how did you first get into Bang Dream Girls Band Party? How did you hear about the game? How did you get into it?
Okay. That's a very interesting question. It was around 2019. People think I've started playing since JP or since the very beginning of the game, but I was actually feeling very bored. So I was looking at Twitter. I was following some sort of artist that used to play MapleStory, because I was a MapleStory player for a long, long time. That particular time I was pretty done with the game, looking for other games to play, and I saw this person. I forgot her name. I think it was Chica Dayo, but she was playing gacha. She was pulling for the gacha, and I was like, a gacha game. I've never played something like this before. Not a racing game, in fact. So, okay, I'll give it a try. So, yeah, I downloaded the game. It was the event of the fireworks, Popipa fireworks, with Saya the 4 stars. I kind of forgot the name of the event, but all right, I decided to play. It was pretty fun. I got top 5K in the first event. I was new to racing games. I had a very crappy phone back then, so I would only play normal. Yeah, I wasn't very skilled, but it was still a lot of fun because I wanted to improve and improve. In fact, I didn't start in hard. I started in easy because I was really, really bad. Like getting Gurren easy full combo was a massive achievement for me. Of course, I didn't know. I didn't hear about Popcorn until one event later, actually, because when I really like something, I get very into it. So I started looking at a lot of information that could help me improve in that sort of game. Okay. So I got top 5K on the Popipa Fireworks event, and then event after, if I remember correctly, was the 6th after below, where I got top 1K. But yeah, I got my first 4 stars. One thing that almost made me quit Bandori right away was that my first 4 stars was Team Park Academy, and a friend gives me 2.5k paid stars to do the beginner gacha that could give you a free 4 stars as well. Yeah. And my second 4 star was also Team Park Academy. So I was really upset about that. I was feeling very sad because it was my friend's money, and I was like, dude, if I got scammed this yearly, I don't really want to spend anything in this game. So, but I was like, maybe I shouldn't take it that seriously. I didn't work back then, so $25 was a lot. Right now, okay, I work and everything. But back then, it was a lot of things I could have bought with that money, or I could have eaten with that person and such. So, yeah, I was like, well, I'm enjoying this game. I won't take that gacha part seriously, XD. But I actually did never, because my first T10, which was Eve's Home Party, I got T10 with only 5 4 stars. And my team only had one 4 star. So, yeah, I'm pretty free to play, as people actually know. I'm not going to reveal here how free to play I am. And let's say that $0 I spent in my whole lifetime. But yeah, that's how I started playing the game. It was a experience I remember clearly as WODA. So yeah, that's how it was.
Well, I'm glad, Loon, that you did not immediately quit the game after the crazy odds of getting a dupe like right off the bat when you're starting the game. That's pretty crazy. That's some pretty bad luck there. But glad to hear that you did not stop at least playing until at that moment. Now, of course, you mentioned that you did a lot of research, a lot of dedication to learn more about the game, and you really got yourself into it right at the start. But what really gave you that inspiration to really get involved in the game? Was it like the series as a whole that you really enjoyed, or was it maybe like a particular character or a particular band that you enjoyed right off the bat and you really wanted to see how they developed?
I didn't know that much about Bandori franchise as a whole. My first 3 stars girl was Rinko, so I really liked Rinko right from the start. And Roselia was my favorite band. Yeah, I wasn't Hello Happy World. It was Roselia right from the start. So I wanted to see the Discord server. I saw Popcorn on the second event. I saw a lot of people asking questions, wondering how to do this and that, what could give you more crystals, how do you get most EP and such. But, I knew the Bandori Wiki website, which actually gave a lot of help when it came to that. Also, I think Popcorn had a own channel where they would answer a lot of important questions that people didn't really bother to look at. So, yeah. I started looking for some information because I was ambitious. It was a game. I mean, when I started playing Maple Story, I always wanted to reach achievements. I quit as a level 250, which was the highest level back in that time. It was the third. My class was called Mercedes. It was like an elf or something like that. Sorry, I was a nerd back then. But yeah, I was the third one in reach that level. So I was like, hey, well, if I'm playing another game, I would like to get some new achievements. So for that, I need to be well informed. I was looking to get T10 at some good point because I was looking at Popcorn and there were like a lot of enablers. I mean, people reaching high. So I was like, hey, maybe I would like to get one of those shiny titles too. So yeah, that's how I started.
That leads to a really interesting point, Loon, because again, when you mentioned you got into the game right at the start, you automatically were like, okay, I get a top 5,000 and then eventually get a top 1,000. You started slowly shaving those zeros off of that ranking, right? Shaving some of the, yeah. So,
one funny thing is that I didn't get a T100 until a year after I started playing.
You skipped a few steps there, I think.
Yeah. I was ambitious. What can I say? Also, very efficient. Because for me, top 100 was never star efficient.
Yeah,
star efficient. So, we'll get into that later.
Yeah. So again, there were definitely various people that you eventually got connected into the community that might have influenced your decisions to tier. But was there any other particular reason why when you got into the game and you saw those rankings, you're like, wow, I want to tier and I want to tier and maybe get some high rankings and some titles? Like, what was your first set of motivation and tiering and the like?
Okay, that's a very crucial question because I was exactly waiting for you to ask that. So going step by step, after I joined Popcorn, this is a story I haven't told many people. This is kind of funny, I guess.
Exclusive content here.
I was a Roselia fan, you know that, right? But I didn't like the blue color in Popcorn. So I looked the Pasopari color, it was light green, and I was like, this is pretty. I really like this color. So I changed my role from Roselia to Pastel Palette. After I bought the Hagumi event, because I had to work at night, I got top 1.1k it was the sports Hagumi event. I remember that because I felt sick as well. So I was talking to Popcorn, complaining about, oh no, I voted, I should have paid attention. I mean, I don't like losing. So Eclipsed, the whale that got 17 top 10s in a row, DM'd me. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm making a Discord of many Pasupari fans. Would you like to join? Do you have any goal for the future? Of course I wasn't a Pasupari fan. I was a Roselia fan that had the Pasupari title. But I took this as an opportunity. So I was like, this would be a nice time to get more friends, to get more into the game, to know more about the high tiering scene, because Eclipse was really known back then. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'm willing to join your server. And that's how I joined Absolute Idols. That event after that was Cooking Class Craziness. And that's when Parrot got top 1, if I remember correctly, against Tango. So yeah, I used that event to learn even more about the game and to prepare properly for my top 10 that was right after that event, which is Eve's Home Party, a Eve Banner event. So, clips, I'm gonna type it here. It's Clipsy as Clipsed. So yeah, it was an Eve Banner, Pasupari, the first Pasupari event for Absolute Idols. So yeah, I was willing to get top 10 thanks to that random invitation that Clipsy gave to a Roselia fan.
Wow, that was that's a bit of an adventure to go from being possibly an accidental Pass the Palettes fan, and then just kind of slowly managing or navigating towards a sort of tiering community when it was still sort of relatively new and fresh, because the game was still quite fresh as well. So that's really cool to see. And when you first joined the tiering community and kind of saw what servers were like, what was that first impression like? What do you notice?
Okay, so first I joined Absolute Idols, and right off the bat I had to top 10. I was going to top 100, but I saw a lot of people on Absolute Idols going like, oh, I want top 10, I want top 10. I had no idea how hard getting top 10 would be. But I was like, okay, I'm going to feel into that pressure and also top 10. The thing is, there was a lot of competition for that event. So I'm going to talk a bit about Eve's Home Party really quickly so I don't take too much time of it.
Yeah.
So I got number 10 on that event. The thing is, okay, I had no good phone. This very crucial part, because my phone died many times during that time. I only played 4 hours and my phone was already dying, dropping frames or just the battery dying very quickly. Nova Turam, he's already quit, but he was a very Eve fan back then, a very big Eve fan. I really wanted him to get to 1, but my phone did not help at all, so I had to stop joining his rooms. Eventually, I tried my best because I was starting to understand my phone better, how much to charge it, or even some tiering tips about cooling of your phone, which around my whole time I've been learning a lot of tiering tips that helped me get my various achievements. So, I tried to help Nova as much as I could, along with everyone. A lot of people decided to resign of getting top 10 that event. I got top 10 with only 7 million EP because, I don't know, it was Challenge Live. Apparently people didn't burn their flames. I remember I also met Manako there. She got number 15. Well, that was her first appearance. I still remember her. I don't know how to find the right adjective. I feel pretty nostalgic every time I talk to Manako, because she really wanted top 10 that event, but she didn't know as much as I did when it came to tiering. So I got sick that event. I got extremely sick because I was very stressed. I know it's only 7 million EP. I only had to play 20 hours to get to 10 that event, but I was very inexperienced, which is why I really understand people that tier for the first time, because I was also there. Okay, Loon right now wouldn't make any sort of mistake when it comes to that. But back then, only playing 4 hours, being able to concentrate or having wrist pain, of course, anybody that goes into battle without experience is going to have to suffer something similar to that. But yeah, even with all of that, I got top 10 in a very simple fashion with only, it was 18K stars. And that's how it all began. So people started considering me more because I had a top 10 that yearly, and I only had a little bit less than 2 months into the game. So that's how I started meeting even more, how to say it, well-known people, bigger whales, something like that. So I was already absolute idols. So I was allowed to join very exclusive cheering servers. For example, the SS, which was Dormat's first event for Lisa's lyrics, and then the most important event when it came to learning about Tyrion for me, which was the Wachamocha canon event. I kind of forgot the name because it was like 3 years ago. But yes, that's how I started getting into Tyrion more and more every time.
Wow, that's amazing to hear that. Again, it's so cool to hear like the origin stories of the Tyrion community. I'm a lot more Zoomer when it comes to joining the community, so it's really cool to hear like the stories from way back when. And you've mentioned some names that even to this day we know some of these people, and they're still sticking around, and it's really cool that they're still keeping at it. And you met with them for so early long ago, but. Wow, I can't imagine ever getting a T10 with only 7 mil. That's really nice. Really chill on your resources. Yeah.
If there is one thing very important for me when it comes to tiering, is never revealing too much information.
Yeah.
I only said I'm going for top 10. I have infinite amount of resources and all the time of the world. If my phone is failing, I'm going to get another one. Of course, those were lies, because one very big mistake that I've seen people make along the whole, I don't know, it's going to sound very dumb, but the whole history of the game is that people reveal way too much about what they plan to do, how they plan to do it, and with how much. This makes other people see everything, basically, of their information. So there are more limits. And eventually, since they don't know anything about the part that actually knows everything about them, they end up voting, as we say it. So yes, for my top 10, I said, okay, I have 3.2 million EP without burning. At the end, it was going to be 7 million. But I have enough CP to get, 11 million. People will be like, oh, okay, yeah, we can pass this guy. Guess GG when it was only 7 million. So yeah, part of getting a very easy top 10 that I don't know too much about how it is right now. I'm assuming it's a bit more competitive, at least for top 10, which is what I've seen, is you gotta have a good strategy to get the goal that you need.
Very, very great advice in general. And I imagine back in the day, though, like because the game was still fresh, right? And it's still new. You were probably tiering with songs like Gurren or Fua Fua? Like, was that like kind of like the idea? I don't remember. It was Fua Fua time? Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. A2Z was still not notoriously not available at the time. So it's really cool to hear like the boomer tiering experiences when you're all using like these other weird like soft meta songs, like New Staff Songs, great escape.
Great escape. Yeah, I didn't play Great Escape because I sucked at it. So it was Fun Time Hard, which was the best song to play. Actually, I loved it. It was super simple, very easy on you. So yeah. Was a medicine.
Yeah. Well, honestly, Loon, it's just so cool to hear about like the old school tiering, history, and of course, you're already sharing a lot of really valuable tips for maybe newer tiers out there. And Loon, just this really like makes me curious because, as you mentioned before, you were very hungry for knowledge on what you need to do to improve yourself in the game, right? Like, I think compared to the average player, you went the miles away to learn more about what you need to do to optimize your gameplay and learn more about what you can do to improve tiering. It's kind of no wonder why that eventually you became, I would say, to be a very well known person in the community. And when I talk with people, right, and people who came on this podcast as guests, and I asked them, how did you get into tiering? How did you first learn about tiering? Your name gets mentioned a lot. Quite a lot, actually. So, so what I guess, how did that go? Like, being like did you ever expect yourself to be like a leader in the community, being someone who's like so knowledgeable in tier and be able to guide people perhaps to whaling? But how did that happen?
Okay, so well, competition was hard, and I mean, competition is about how much information you have about something. People that tier for the first time don't make the same mistake twice. As I have already tiered once, I wanted to share that knowledge with the people I enjoy their company, like my friends, so they could have an easier time tiering. The easier time I did not have back then. So for that, of course, every time someone had a question, I had an answer ready for them. I'm assuming that with newer people, and they were starting, I don't know, to feel happy talking to me because they knew they were going to be well received in every conversation. And obviously, I would be very happy to support them or to talk to them in anything they needed. So, yes, a lot of the new generations that were back then are very old generations today. I don't know, I could say Suyaha or, okay, who's here? Blair. Yeah, I love Blair. So, yeah. I would say a leader because, well, I was a mod in many tiering servers. So I will always be around to help people. I had a lot of free time back then. Okay, so
fair.
Job difference. I didn't have a job. I mean, right now I'm a corporate slave, which is why I cannot share that many moments with everyone. But back then I didn't have a job for a lot of time, and when I did, it was during the pandemic, and it was like remote working. So I still had a good share of free time. So I would use this time to make people's life easier. And well, I was a moderator, excuse me. So people would see my name and be like, maybe I can talk to this person, which I've seen a lot around. So yeah, I'm not quite sure about a leader, but I would say myself without, I don't know, boosting my ego, because I never looked to do that, that I'm very happy to have support and to have introduced a lot of people into the game and to have been a core weight of meat when it came to them getting the title they really needed, because everybody wants a pretty shiny title for something you enjoy doing, which is in this case playing Bandori. So thanks to that, yes, I've met a lot of people during these times. People have gotten very close. Right now, yeah, times are hard. I cannot spend that much time with them, but the memories are still there, which is what matters most, right?
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Yeah, well, that's really cool. Again, just the fact that you had the time, the kindness, and the wisdom to be able to share. Be able to support people who weren't in the same footsteps as you when you first started, right? And maybe did not have the liberty of having so many mentors or guiders to help them in their tiering journey. And then, Loon, you based on your own experiences, you want to pass that knowledge and along to other people, and that made people's lives a lot easier, and it made people more comfortable with tiering and be able to join the community thanks to your guidance. So again, I guess again, I imagine there's a lot of people already listening to this podcast, and do appreciate the work you've done way back then to help them get accustomed to tiering. And I'm sure that that knowledge and wisdom will continue to be passed on as as generations of tiering grow. So
there will be more gacha games, more recent games, and knowledge will go on, I guess.
Yeah, knowledge just keeps passing forward, and all the people kind of going around it passes forward. So yeah, again, big props to you, Loon. It's really great to hear that. Again, maybe not necessarily what you might have thought yourself as like a leader in the community per se, but I guess in general, as I mentioned before, just the knowledge, the mentorship you gave for people, it really helped them step foot into the community. So big props to you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Loon, let's talk a little bit more about your whaling experiences then. So you got your T10, right, and it was a relatively cheap T10, but it was difficult because back in the day with your phone and challenges and played for that long of a period of time back then. Right now it's obviously like pretty standard and normal, but back in the day it was quite difficult. So first of all, what kind of convinced you that, hey, like a T10 is not enough? I kind of want to go do more. So what convinced you to say, hey, I want to go for a T1 in an event? So what sort of whale fluence thoughts got you to plan for that?
Well, the main reason is because many of the people I would normally talk to were already planning a T1 or already had a T1. So if they're, as I said before, I know people may not like me saying this, but I say this a lot. Top 100, when you don't have enough resources, is not efficient to get, because you get the same rewards and the title is not that high. I mean, if you want a good title, I think it's either top 10 or going even more, aiming going straight for the goal you want to. I know it may sound elitist. I'm sorry if it does. But if you are aiming for top 10 or podium, you cannot afford the luxury of getting top 100 because it's a lot of cans and stars you are not investing into your main goal. So I wanted T1 because I already had that mentality back then. A lot of people had T1, and I saw myself able to get T1. Eventually, during the New Year's event, which was the Omiyuki Madness, if I remember correctly, the event like got T1, I got a new phone. I mean, it was still very standard phone, but it was that got me my first T1, which is the iPhone 7. So yeah, I had a good phone now, and I had time. The only thing I needed was stars, but I'm free to play right away, as Daniel says. Yeah. So I had to stay for many months, and I needed a good team because the event I wanted was Beating in the Ring. Back then, there were a lot of scary whales that were also Kokoro fans because people really like the goddess Kokoro 4-stars. Shining through the rain, something like that. So yeah, I was willing to fight Papers, Wisp, that took some interest over that event. Also Saya, which is a very massive whale that was not that much around right now. So I was ready to fight them. I didn't see myself able to beat them star-wise, but I could maybe clutch a win with enough strategy. Eventually, obviously, they drop out because, come on, a lot of people drop out, as we have seen. People playing things in 3, 6, 1 year in events, and they don't concrete their goals because they don't have their eyes into that, which is something I've always told people to do. Don't give up no matter what, and think. I won't say names right now, but I think that's what has made them get T1 at the end, because they persevered and they saved as many stars as they could to get that goal. So yeah, I did that. At the end, Papers with Saya dropped. I didn't have any competition, and I had a massive amount of support because I had 2 very strong whales, which was Nova, top 1 Ips Home Party, and Tango. Top 1, the Winter Maya event, I forgot the name, and many other strong podium titles. So yeah, they were going to be my bodyguards, and I was going to get top 1. My only competition during that event was Homie Dixon. Obviously, I saw that I had infinite amount of time, which was true, and infinite amount of stars, which was not true. But obviously, Homie didn't care about that. Because we know Homie Dixon right now, right? He's going to push until the very end. No matter how much you have, he's going to. Back then, we would call it add value, right? But right now, it's fair and square competition. That's how I saw it. Obviously, when you're on that part, when people, let's say, add value, it's harsh because you could be having such a easy and simple and cheap event, but thanks to that person, it is not. Anyway, Uh, value added title. Yeah, exactly, bro. So yeah, I fought Homie Dixon. My whole server went straight 24 hours. Everybody that wanted to get top 10 got top 10. They fought 24 hours, and everybody was very close, very close together on the first 24 hours. But there was something very important in that event. There was some maintenance of 5 hours after the first 24
What?
hours, which is something that has never that didn't happen before and has never happened again. 5 hours after 24 hours meant that I had free hours to sleep right off the bat. So I wasn't that experienced either back then. This made the event so much easier. You have no idea, because Henry Dixon was first, because Henry Dixon was going to make me more exhausted. He wasn't going to stop. And second, because it was lighter for my wallet. Obviously, I did spend money for that T1. Everybody said, okay, yeah, Loon is free to play. I'm free to play. Why do I say I'm free to play? Because I'm the double T1 that has spent the least on the game, because I was very, very, very careful on the resources. I didn't even spend that much. I'm going to say I spent $300 on that T1. At the end of the event, I spent 90k stars along with some kins, but a lot of those were free to play that I saved during months. The paid stars were just to secure the title, because homie was pushing right at the end, and I was like, okay, I have to secure this title. Which is funny, you know why? Because I didn't have that much fun back then. So homie Dixon actually stopped for one whole event, which was during Father's Day, because he decided to spend it with his family. And seeing this, so did I. And that's like a whole $200 that one gets to spend of one day not playing. So at the end, Homie got fourth, Tango third, Nova second, and I got T1, just as planned. Wow. So I would say it was all part of the strategy. I did a lot of very small things during that event that I think was all part of the strategy that make the event much easier. But yeah, that's how it was. I was very afraid of fighting many whales, but I never backed down. The same happened to my second event, which I know we're going to talk about it later, but that's how the first one went.
Hey everyone, it's Phil here. Hope you're enjoying the episode so far. As a reminder, the RePHIL Studio is available on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And feel free to subscribe to your favorite platform so that you're up to date with all of the weekly episodes. And if you really enjoy it, feel free to leave a comment and give a high rating on any of the platforms you use. All that support is greatly appreciated. If you really want to support my content and the RePHIL Studio, consider joining the Filler Nation by either subscribing to my Twitch channel or by joining the Patreon. Links in the description below. Any support is greatly appreciated. And again, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all the Filler Nation members who've been constantly supporting me, and you'll be featured in this video every time. So definitely check it out if you are interested. And for our Filler Nation members, again, I greatly appreciate your support. We have a channel, the RePHIL Academy VODs channel, where there'll be VODs of my streams as well as possible other side projects on the side. So check out the card above if you'd like to subscribe and check out other content that I may be doing in the future. And of course, feel free to join the Unga Academy Discord server, links in the description below, so that you could be up to date with the live recordings of the RePHIL Studio podcast, as well as contribute to the studio question that happens in every episode. So check it out, and thank you all so much for the support. The RePHIL Studio episode will resume shortly. Well, that's honestly, again, what an amazing way that you were able to plan that. Now, one thing I want to maybe ask and add for you to add, if you don't mind, is why specifically Beating in the Rain? Because you mentioned Kokoro, but I guess why specifically you wanted T1 that event, and I guess second, how you also mentioned how much time you took to prepare for that event. So when you finalize your decision on saying, hey, I want to get T1 and Beating in the Rain, what sort of preparation you did to make sure to secure that you got that T1?
Okay, that's a very good question. I know you have a lot of experience with podcasts. I've noticed that because that's extremely good question. The
Oh,
reason
yeah.
why I decided to go ahead
I'm
in the rain,
flattered.
yeah, I'm giving you compliments because that's an extremely good question. And the main reason why I went for T1 in the rain is because I was pulling for Cool Saya, the unlimited Cool Saya from Christmas, and instead on the solo I got Cool Misaki from the Cool Hello Happy World event. I forgot the name. Feathers got T3, but anyway, I got Cool Misaki. So that was one very important card together in that particular event. Hello, my happy world. Yeah, exactly there. So I was like, obviously, I've said before, I was looking at all sort of information to get the ball I wanted. So I was looking very ahead of myself. I saw the Beating on the Rain event. It had a very good title that was not going to get destroyed because it was in English. It had Boboro, and I love Boboro. And I had one very important staple card. So I was like, okay, my next preparation is getting a very solid, cool, hello, happy world team for this particular event. So my next saving was for the F Cannon. I blanked the F Cannon in 45k stars.
Oh.
Sadly, but I obviously, as destiny was decided that I had to get T1 during that event, I didn't get the F Cannon, but I got Cool Otai from the circling 5-star popping party event. So I had Cool Misaki, Cool Otai, Cool Arisa, which was the healer one. I Miracle Ticket. What did I Miracle Ticket? It was a very important card. It was this non-scorer Cool Hagumi from the event I bought it back then. That was the 4th card, and the 5th card was also circling Kasumi, which I lucked out in only 5k stars. Don't ask me why I decided to pull for her, but I did, and I lucked out. So that was my team. Very bad yet, but just what I needed, because one less card would have been disaster. So yeah, that was my preparation. Saving as much as I could for a good, cool team. I know I had a lot of luck. It may not seem like that because I blanked the F Cannon, but everything aligned for me to get a very budget team and not spend more than I should have with that little EP difference from every game in a versus live event. So yeah, that's how it went.
Wow. It's so it's such a really fine balance of trying to balance, the how many pulls you want to get to use for a specific character and a card, because obviously it's gacha, it's all based on luck, but also being able to still have enough stars or cans to spare for your tiering. So that's a really fine balance, and I can imagine people who maybe if they don't get the card they want, they start to reach out to other, reach down to the bottom of their wallets to try and get get what they need. And I think for you, a little bit of, you do have quite a bit of self-control, which is quite inspirational for those who maybe have, maybe want to resort to easier ways to get the cards they want.
Yeah. Okay. So another tip. I'm sorry for cutting you, Phil.
No, go ahead.
Tip is please, whoever is listening to this, if you want to get top 10 or podium, please focus on that goal. Don't spend that much. Don't feel pressure to gacha for other pretty cards. Just keep your head right into that title, because if you persevere, you're gonna have that start difference is going to matter a lot. And most importantly, not because of the stars themselves, but because of the stress and anxiety you're gonna have without that amount of stars. So please keep those stars saved until the event you want. That's what I would like to add.
Definitely. Well, again, more great advice from Loon Sensei here. So Loon, what about the other events? So you then, after Beating in the Rain, there was a bit of time in between then and your next T1, which will end up being your last T1, the Summer Night Poems Across Water. I believe that's a pure Hello Happy World event, I believe, right? Yep.
Yes.
So again, similar question to before. What made you? What convinced you to go for T1 for this particular event? And to add on that, what also inspired you that this? You said that this was going to be your last event, tiering.
Yes. Summer's Night. Flowers Across the Water. And sorry, my memory is so blurry because it's been so long.
Yeah.
Was going to be my return event. Why? Because here is another tip. Don't get into a fight you are probably not going to win. I would have gone for Bandori 2 Hello Happy World, but Feathers was going for it. Also Snips. I consider Snips very, very scary. Everybody that listens to this. So, should I, as someone with limited funds, I was okay. I had a lot of experience from beating in the ring, but I had very limited funds. So should I get into this fight knowing that if they push a little harder, they will beat me fair and square? No, I should not. So let's go for an event that not many people have looked into, which is Summer's Night Flowers Across the Water. And Kokoro was a 4 stars, a limit one. So yeah, it was enough to catch my attention. Another event I really wanted was Police Hello Happy World. Wisp got to wonder in that event. There was a lot of how do I not drama, but a lot of confusion about who in our team, our server was going to get T1 during this event. And the best one was Wisp for a retirement event. Wisp was top 2 in. Wait, I say that Lights got New Year's during the Omijuki Madness. I'm sorry, he got top 4. Wisp got top 1, and Wisp got top 2 in If's home party. Wisp was also another very big Kokoro fan. In fact, he's one of the people that inspired me to like Kokoro way more. I would say he's like, I don't know, the person contrary to the successor. I'm sorry, my mind is like burnt right now.
No worries.
Like, okay, if I was a sensei, then he was a sensei of a sensei. I really looked up to Wisp. He got top 1 during that event in very simple fashion. He struggled because he wasn't that used to tiering anymore. But yeah, I really wanted to top 1 that event, but that was claimed. The only two actually, that were looking to get top 1 during my event of the Canon Kokoro one was Frostbolt and Ben. So Frostbolt was like, yeah, I cannot beat you Wells. You guys take this event. Yeah, take it. I was like, okay, so obviously that was like some other way. So it was in between me and Bing. I say before that don't get into a fight. You're not gonna be able to win that easily. But regardless, it was my very last event, my retirement event. So I was like, okay, I'm going to fight Bing. In between us and the people that may be listening, I was not looking forward to beat Bing. I was very stressed and anxious. One, because he knew my limits and he knew his limits. I only knew my limits. No, in fact, I only knew his limits, which were very high, but I didn't know my limits because my event wasn't that harsh. He played during Luminous. He knew about how high he could go. He was the highest amount of hours steering in a row back then during Luminous. So he knew very well what to do and what not to do. I did not. But regardless, I felt so much love for this event eventually because I know a lot of people, like, when they put their mind and their eyes into an event, they read their stories, they look at the cards, they eventually get a lot of passion, a lot of love into that particular event, and that's what makes them reach their goals. That was also for me. So yeah, I was willing to fight Bing no matter what. It was like a stage of grief because I knew in some part of me that I was going to definitely lose, but I was going to do my absolute best to beat him. My main thing was that, one, he's extremely gorilla. I maybe would be able to match him, but money-wise, obviously not. So being an 8 days event, I was like, okay, I don't care. I want this title. Maybe Destiny will allow me, to get to 1, which actually did. because I was going to fight Bing around 5 or 3 days before the event started. I was going to drop out on the very last day of the event. Bing did 3 days before the event started.
Oh.
So, yeah, Bing quit first. His main reason was because he didn't want to fight a friend, which was also my reason. Bing and I were best friends back then. So, I didn't want to fight Bing, but I really wanted the event, and Bing didn't want to drop because it was a canon event. He was not going to be training his main account. It was going to be with Aoi, and he really wanted Aoi to have a T1 for a canon event. But yeah, I did not drop out, which led me to get a very, very simple and the most fun event I've ever cheered, and the most fun experience I've had in a cheering server, because I had a lot of ideas planned into this event that were kind of crippled, because I was like, I'm going to be quitting. There's no reason for me to be planning ahead if I'm going to tell the cheering server that I'm dropping out. But yeah, when Bean dropped out, I had to speed run everything that I wanted to plan, and that went pretty well. So if you are going to ask me how I prepared for this event properly, I laxed many pure cards from Hello Happy World, and I also laxed the event banner. I got both of the limit cards in only 20k. So yeah, that's how it was.
Wow. So a lot of things went your way, right? The cards came your way, which obviously made tiering a lot more efficient. Competition with your friends, that was going to be a thing, but then at last minute and everything kind of lined up, and it wasn't going to be as resource heavy as you initially thought, and overall it turned out to be a really fun experience and kind of a chill but memorable experience in tiering for that event. And I don't know if you have a memorable, like very in particular, anything memorable about that particular event, like anything that happened during the event or just maybe right after you got your title. Like, what was that feeling like?
Okay, so well, another tip is that never give up. Yeah, you never know when someone is going to drop, which is something a lot of people have kept in mind and didn't drop, no matter how strong the tier was going to be or how annoying the amount of competition was lining up to be. I've seen many friends not care too much into this, and at the end people drop out the whole time. They got a very simple 2-1. So yes, a very important memory. Well, the events. I really love the events I made for this steering server. So every day I was planning to, I'm going to, every training server I joined before didn't have this. I wanted people to have as much fun as possible, because it was going to be my retirement event. Let's make this as enjoyable as possible and as memorable as possible. So yeah, I tried to do very little events, like, I don't know, finding if you could type a word, it would send a very particular reaction. It was thanks to the Dinobot. It was a lot of mini games like this reaction thing, or what else did I do? It was so many things, but it was so long ago. I'm devastated. Okay, so it was the reaction. Okay, I'm actually going to cheat. Give me like 1 minute. I'm going to look right into my server because I want to remember
dig through the old memories, eh?
Yeah, very good memories. This is so cute. Okay, so the second event was like wholesome hours. I tried to do my best to give them cute titles. So the main thing about this event was to tag someone and to say something very cute about them. I think it was very lighthearted, and I really loved it. And the one who would get the most hearts would win the event. And obviously, I wanted everyone to join, so I would give Nitro to whoever was the winner of every event. So yeah, the second event was ping someone and tell them something very cute. That way people could get a chance to say something they haven't said before, or to make a stronger bonds with someone, which is an opportunity I wish I had before. So I was like, I'm sure a lot of people also enjoyed it. The third one was for myself. It was to post any Hello Happy World fan art, obviously with some restriction. It had to be a very wholesome one. this was because I wanted a new avatar. But yeah, all planned. The fourth event was to post a meme. The most entertaining one would win a nitro. The fifth one was a trivia, which I'm sure a lot of people enjoy because it was like 70 questions I was making while I was steering at the same time. But there was also a very boomer moment because a lot of the questions were boomer even for that time. The sixth event was I don't remember how it was. I think it was a lot of little challenges that would send two people into the finals, and only one person would win, obviously. And the seventh one was a karaoke, which had 125 songs and a lot of people singing. 125 songs was something that made me very happy because, come on, it went for like 11 hours, that final event.
Wow.
And that's how my event finished. It was very memorable. And, well, at the end of the event, I really liked the Sky. Okay, you know Sky. Because we used to spend a lot of time back then. At the end of the event, I confessed to her, I know distance, duh. Why would you get into a distance relationship? Because I really like this guy. Come on. So I confessed to her, and she was very happy, and we started dating up until now, and so on. So yeah, there was a very memorable event that I'll never forget because
wow,
a lot of things went right into my way. Destiny is nice. So,
it's like a storybook ending for you, Loon, in terms of your tiering experience. So yeah, big shout outs to you and Sky, of course. And again, big shout outs to your T1. And although honestly, those events were like, they sound a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I'm too Zoomer. I joined the community I think it was like 2 events after you retired. So I didn't actually get to know you too well until, going through the podcast, and everyone's like taking inspiration from you about joining the community, taking inspiration from you on terms of making server events fun, right? Like, it's not just about tiering, it's about the little community aspect you build within that individual tiering server. A lot of them took inspiration from your event. So it's really awesome to hear that you made everything such a fun event, and even in your retirement, you were still thinking about how it would be best for others, and I kind of like I think that's like a really good way to summarize your career. So being able to help others, yeah, exactly. So yeah, Loon, again, thank you for sharing that. That's honestly it's so cool to like reminisce some really amazing stories that you had and your experience. And again, I imagine when you think about it again, you just think, wow, this is like, what an unforgettable experience that must have been.
Yeah. I could go on for hours and hours. I know the podcast is only 1 hour, but yeah, so many good memories, so many fun things. Yeah. I should have made a gospel like Eclipse did, but I didn't. I never had enough time to do it. Oh well.
Oh wow. But, yeah. Maybe that's something you work on as you continue to enjoy retirement a year and a half later.
It's been way too long since I retired. I retired August 2020 actually. Yeah. I returned August 2020. I can't believe it's been so long. Time flies.
It's so. I think it's kind of crazy to think that like you've kind of retired for this long, and there hasn't ever been that urge, as we talked about before, that self-control to like just not to get back into things. I know a lot of people, and it's kind of a meme in the community, especially for our big whales out there. They say, "Oh yeah, this is I'm retiring, guys. It's over," and then literally, like a week later, they're already planning for the next event, and it's just like, wow, that's like, oh, come on, you for a lot of people, they retire, and then there's like a actual retire, but maybe for Loon, maybe I know it's a Bang Dream podcast, and we do want to encourage people to continue playing the game and supporting the franchise, but if you have like any advice to those who may want to follow your path to eventually retire one day, what would you say?
If people really want to retire, well, I get very sad when I see people sparking event after event event, going. Okay, I mean, it's their money, obviously. Just do whatever you want to do with it, but you could be doing something better with that. but I don't want to ruin the franchise, So
Yeah.
Lucia, if you hear this, please don't kill me. People should well, yeah. Okay, so there should be a tip I can give to people that want to retire is to finish with something. Finish with something that you can say, okay, there is nothing that's going to surpass the experience I've had during this particular event. This is it. I'm retiring in the best, the most amazing possible fashion. Let's stop here. And that's how it went with my event.
Yeah. Do you have any regrets about, retiring? Was there any part about it that you're like, man, if there was like, maybe there's one thing I could have done before retiring, or in general, like you're pretty happy, pretty satisfied with how things are?
There is one regret I have, but I cannot say it here.
That's fair.
It was about some very dramatic event that I could have handled properly. Back then, I would get very into the community, so I tried, as soon as light drama could happen, I tried to do my best for me to fix it for everyone, and that was a big toll. There was one particular event that I could have handled better. I didn't do anything bad per se, I would say, but well, after I took a break after that event, 10 days break, everything was already solved, which led me into the conclusion that maybe not everything is as bad as it is. And well, every drama ends like every Bandori drama ends when the next event begins. And if it's not during that, it's going to end for sure eventually. So don't stress over it. Don't try to do everything. Don't try to fix everything. You're not God. So yeah, that's the one regret. If there's one regret I have is caring. Not caring. I did well caring. Stressing too much over things that were not as big as they actually were like. So yeah.
It's understandable when there's competition and there could be some hot heads that's happening, and things could happen and make things a little bit more difficult or challenging for other people. But again, at the end of the day, we're all doing this because we love the game, we love the franchise, right? So
and the community, of course.
Yeah, and
the friends. Yeah. The real two were the friends we made along the way. For
sure. the classic saying, eh? Yep. And Loon, I think in retirement, you are still playing like other games, though, right? Like you are playing other games and enjoying that life there as well.
Yeah, I don't have that much free time nowadays.
Yeah, that's fair.
My career is international business administration, and for international business you need to be there the whole time. So if there are games I play, one is Genshin, not very much anymore because first it's getting a bit stale for me. I don't have that much time to do dailies. I only want to pull, but I'm not whaling. I only whale for Hotel.
Yeah.
But yeah, one is Genshin, another one is League of Legends. Yeah, I know people hate League of Legends, but hey, I have fun because I mute all. So yeah. And the third one is Project Sekai. And you're going to ask, but Loon, why are you playing Project Sekai when you're already retired from racing games? One very important thing, it has an auto play feature, which is something I wish Bandori could have. If Bandori had that, I would go back into the game only to auto for fun. And so I could say for Birdie Kokoro card. So yeah, those are the three main events I play.
Wow. Yeah, well that's fun. It's still good to hear that you're still doing what you can and playing other games, Project Sekai of course being a very popular game for many of our viewers as well. That also kind of leads to a studio question. So again, for those who are unfamiliar with this, every podcast I ask my Discord server members a question that they can answer, and some of their responses will be shared on the podcast. The question I asked Loon is if you could implement one quality of life change to tiering in Bang Dream to make it more accessible or convenient, what would it be? And you already mentioned, right? If there was an auto feature, that would make things a lot better. And I think some of our members, I'll show on the video, that's another thing that they would love to see. I'm not sure if there's anything else that you have in mind that you think that could possibly make it more accessible or convenient to tier?
There are many things Bandori could learn from Sekai, which is why I still play Sekai. If they want people to play more, one is the challenge thing of Sekai, which is you play one game a day for a particular character you like. I think this makes me play because I really want the Anne title to look better. I'm very unhoney fan for Vivid Bat Squad, so that's one thing. And the second thing is to show the whole top 100. I'm not sure if people will like this because it means people have more information and probably the cutoff is going to be higher, but it's clearer. So if Bandori could show the whole top 100 thing, I think it would be much more enjoyable, so you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point that Sekai has that Bandori doesn't. It wasn't mentioned by any of our viewers, but I think that would be a really good idea, just to give a bit more information, see how everyone is in top 100. Yes, it might make events a bit more expensive, but hey, if events are more expensive, people put more time into it. They get more revenue in it. So, maybe you're thinking about something. You're thinking about something interesting that Bushiroad could implement.
Yeah.
A couple of other responses. I'll share. I won't share all of them. Some of them are going to be listed on the video. But being able to exchange coins for live boosts, that would be quite.
Wow.
Quite interesting.
That would get me at T1 and a lot of people too.
Add a button that takes you to the event main page to see your ranking more easily. So something like D4DJ, they do that. And like being able to hopefully not break room. Like, rooms break quite easily, and there's like, there's like this weird debug thing they have to do. It's like, it's so weird. Like, I don't know why that does. It's so funny. I was tiering in a Project Sekai tiering server before, and then the room was bugged. So I'm like, hey, can you guys debug the room? And they had no idea what I was talking about. It was so funny, but So again,
one funny thing is, I'm sorry. I never had many. I think I've never had to debug that often in a room, so I never found it as a problem. But I think it's all part of the tiering because it balances out. If you're going to have this problem, the other one is also going to have that problem.
But either way. And also, of course, one very, very excellent suggestion we have is that Loon should T1 another event that would make our lives a lot easier and more convenient in tiering.
Oh no, why would people want me to get a cert T1? If there is a reason why I haven't gotten a cert T1, it's because I find it a little bit too greedy. Yeah, I could be like, I'm going to take 1 week T1 real quick, but that would mean someone else is not getting that T1, and I already have 2, so I get another one.
Yeah.
Maybe I consider it eventually. A squint, but yeah, for the time being, I'm not looking to tier another event because I'm already retired, and Summer Evening was a massive, big event for me. I would like it to just end there because I spent it with a lot of people I like. Yeah, leave it at that. And a lot of people from the new generation don't know me, obviously. Sometimes I would drop on tier servers and people absolutely have no idea who I am, which is perfectly fine. But compared to before, I find it pretty funny because then people will be like, oh, Loon, big fan, Loon, blah, blah, blah. But right now, Loon, who the heck is Loon? And that's fine for me because new people arrive into the game, new other people become the center of attention. Yeah, I think everybody should have the spotlight, and I don't think I needed the game. So yeah, let's keep it at 2-2-1 and call it a day for now.
Yeah, that's fair. And again, as we talked about quite a few times, the community is growing, right? A lot of old faces, maybe since retired, and then new faces are coming in. It's really cool to see how the community is evolving and growing. And let's cheers to hoping that it continues to grow and evolve in a positive way, in a healthy way. And yeah, a lot of people who may not necessarily be as active anymore, like you, could. We'll definitely still be here to overwatch and see how it grows and how it continues to nurture. Yeah. So, Well, Loon, has been a great pleasure having you on the studio today. So thank you again for taking the time to share your amazing experiences with everyone today. So before we go, is there any last words, any last shout outs you'd like to share to our viewers out there?
Okay, so well, first of all, shout out to everybody in Absolute Idols. That is such a dead server right now because super boomer. But I've been in many servers. Let's shout out to PTA, to Hive, to Absolute Idols. Those are the main three I know that have received me well. Well, PTA is full of whales. Hive is full of very good, amazing people that, are still playing the game a lot. And, well, Absolute Idols is the first server that received me and the reason why I'm here, actually. So, yeah, shout out to them, shout out to Sky, shout out to all of the friends I've met along the way, everybody that has helped me and that I have had the pleasure of helping. And, well, I may not be a player anymore, but, yeah, I'm always overwatching in some sort of way, overseeing. I like to see how the game is doing, so I pop into Popcore from time to time, and if anybody has any sort of question or thing, or I don't know, wants to talk about anything in particular, I'm always very happy to help. My DMs are open. I still have some experience I would like to share, so yeah, go ahead. Great. And don't feel too shy. I don't bite. So, yeah.
Well, Loon, again, it was a great pleasure having you. And again, all the wisdom, the words that you shared, the guidance you've shared today, very mind-opening. It was great pleasure hearing all your stories. And again, continue to rock that retirement life. I know you're a busy person with your work and, being a productive member of society, but keep rocking that. And again, for our new tiers out there, or just anyone out there, Loon greatly shared many great advice. So we'll definitely certainly continue to. I'll link the Twitters and the Discord information as well below, or join the Young Academy Discord server if you want to interact with a lot of our special guests or contribute to the studio question every episode. But that's all, folks. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the RePHIL Studio. As a reminder, we are available on all of your favorite podcast platforms. And of course, as I mentioned before, join the Young Academy Discord server if you wish. But the set has been complete. So get your cans ready, save them up. We're going to refill on our next set when we have our next special guest. But until then, thank you all so much for listening and take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.